Discover China. Bustling bazaars, quiet alleyways, extraordinary buildings, and major historical sites are all mainstays of these two cities. Together, they have witnessed the changes within China. Discover China embarks on a unique journey between two cities. In China's western frontiers, autumn is quietly arriving in the suburbs of Kashgar City in Xinjiang province. The leaves of the deciduous poplars turn yellow, giving the fields a golden hue. It is early in the morning. Ni Ya's mother is sweeping the fallen leaves in her courtyard. It will be little Ni Ya's 7th birthday in a few days. Today, Ni Ya's grandfather, Tuor Soon, will take him to a bazaar to buy him a birthday present. He is a famous musician in the village and hopes little Ni Yaz will inherit his musical talents. The birthday present for Ni Yaz will be a musical instrument. The word bazaar comes from ancient Persian, meaning marketplace. Kashgar, a city 1,000 years old, has a long history of bazaars. Shopping in one is considered a custom in the life of Kashgar's residents. Autumn in Xinjiang is chilly. Dust clouds and fallen leaves dance in the wind, but it doesn't seem to bother Ni Yaz. He eagerly anticipates his visit to the bustling bazaar. Tan Le Lin's home in Macau is situated on a quiet lane. Le Lin's father, Tan Junrong, is Chinese. Her mother, Maria, is Portuguese. Daily conversations are mainly in Portuguese. But living in the multi-ethnic city of Macau, they are able to speak Mandarin, Cantonese, and English fluently. On the table, both Eastern and Western cuisines are represented. The family uses both forks and chopsticks. Tan Junrong was born and raised in Macau. He and Maria met in Portugal when he went there to study at the age of 24. She was 21 at the time. Later, they fell in love. They wanted to get married, but Maria's father objected. However, knowing the two were determined to be together, Maria's father finally wavered and eventually gave them his blessing. In Macau, descendants from Chinese and Portuguese parents like Tan Le Lin are called home-born Portuguese. The unique characteristics of multicultural families are evident in the home-born Portuguese. They are best described by the idioms, a Chinese heart with a Portuguese soul, an Oriental beard with a Western nose. They pray in both a temple and in a church. They are the product of 400 years of Macau's living history. Amidst the Portuguese households in the downtown area of Macau is a mansion belonging to a Chinese merchant. It has 3 big rooms, all attached to each other. When guests come to visit, they are each placed in a different room according to their status. Following the practices of feng shui, the inner courtyard is open. However, even in this traditional Chinese house, traces and vestiges of Western architecture can still be found. The building shows a distinct combination between Western and Oriental styles. Zheng Chengzhi, a famous Chinese author, wrote about Kashgar. In the past decade, I have written many times about Kashgar. Now, when I feel the urge to write about it, I pick up my pen and the words flow. Many of my works have been published. However, reading my own words, I feel foolish. I feel those words are plain and pale as I am. An inexplicable feeling has long been stirring and torturing my soul. No matter how hard I search for knowledge and verifying historical facts, I still cannot describe Kashgar accurately. It is simply impossible to depict Kashgar, even though I have poured all of my efforts into it. Kashgar's name originates from the Uyghur language. It means a place where various kinds of jade are found. The old town center of Kashgar is called Chassa, where the Karakanid Khanate once ruled. Chassa was the heart of Kashgar some 8 centuries ago. Chassa's face survived the sands of time. Time stands still in the walkways, the thick earth walls and stained wooden lintels, peeled and cracked. It still appears much the same now as it did in the Middle Ages. It is said that one cannot claim to have been to Xinjiang province without visiting Chassa at the center of Kashgar. In ancient times, the Silk Road split into two routes leading north and south as it entered the Tarim Basin from the east, bypassing the Taklamakan Desert. The two routes met again in Kashgar. From there, the Silk Road crossed the Pamir Plateau through a number of passes, heading for India, Iran, Western Asia, and Europe. Kashgar played an important trading role in history. Today, many of the ancient commercial streets are still active in Kashgar. One of the well-known commercial streets is called Handicraft Street. Along this street are hundreds of workshops and stalls. The description of the street given by the locals is simple. This street is a collection of Uyghur and Central Asian handicrafts. Modern ideas and techniques can be seen in the craftsmanship. This is where one can thoroughly understand how these crafts are being made. Following the familiar and melodic music, Niyaz and his grandfather come to a music shop. The musical talents of the Uyghur people equip them with remarkable skills in crafting musical instruments. All Uyghur instruments are handmade. This tradition has been kept to this day. The main materials are mulberry wood, as well as apricot wood, animal bones, leather, and hair. There are 20 major instruments in Uyghur music. Besides percussion instruments such as tambourines and sapaya, other instruments include the plucked rawap and sitar, and the string kushtar and gijik. Interestingly, the sitar is both a bowed instrument and a plucked one. Production of the sitar combines techniques from both the Chinese Tang Dynasty and methods from the Turkish Empire. This is yet another typical example of cultural integration between East and West.
Ma satar falan. En ağlı. Bak ama düşer bana. Çalımız var buna ha. Biraz kalan ha.
Niyaz's grandfather had finally decided on a sitar for his grandson's birthday present. Unlike Kashgar, autumn in Macau is hot and humid. The breeze carries the scent of the ocean and fresh fish. During the Ming and Qing dynasties, Macau belonged to Zhongshan County in Guangdong. In 1553, Portuguese sailors, under the pretext of drying their sea-soaked cargo, bribed a local government official named Wang Bo. In turn, he gave them permission to anchor and reside in Macau. 19 years later, annual bribes totaling 500 silver taels were turned over to the national treasury. This information was recorded in the Ming Dynasty's Guangdong tax books. Both the Ming and Qing dynasties posted tax officials in Macau to collect tariffs from the Portuguese and to effectively exercise their sovereignty. This relationship lasted until 1839. In August 1840, during the First Opium Wars, the British attacked Macau's port of entry. The defending Chinese troops in Macau were forced to withdraw, making the Chinese government lose its military control over this peninsula for the very first time. Macau finally regained Chinese sovereignty on December 20th, 1999. In retrospect, it was the Portuguese's involvement that played a decisive role in Macau's prosperity. Consequently, Macau became one of the key ports of trade between the East and West. During the same period, Kashgar was experiencing a similar economic boom. Up until the landing of the Portuguese in Macau, Kashgar had been a pivotal gateway on the ancient Silk Road, an international commercial hub where merchants from all around the globe gathered. Kashgar of those times was a busy, bustling city, full of camel caravans, merchants, and traders. Stores and markets were stacked with merchandise, silk, satin, and silver, as well as azure, spices, and jade, and a multitude of other goods. Outside, the chimes of the camel bells characterized the endless convoys traveling through the vast desert. With the development of the sea routes, the merchant camel caravans roaming the desert were replaced with huge fleets of merchant ships. Macau had become a major port on the marine Silk Road. Medicine from Europe, peppers from India, and silver from Japan were all brought to Macau. From there, they were transported to the mainland. In turn, silk, clay, and porcelain pottery and tea from China were transported overseas through Macau. The peninsula soon flourished. The book History of the Ming Dynasty describes Macau. Ships are swarming in the harbor one after another, merchants from everywhere doing their utmost to strike the best deals. Macau's economic growth was one of the causes to Kashgar's decline as a major port of trade between the East and the West. Today, the city of Kashgar is peaceful and calm. It's hard to imagine it was once such a bustling center of commerce. Doves are hovering over the old city, their coos echoing in the once busy alleys. A Uyghur family is having a family gathering. Their home is built on a high platform in the old city of Kashgar. The platform extends a few hundred meters in length. This residential area is called high platform houses. This construction style has lasted for over 2,000 years. This small lane on the platform is called Kazchi Arbi Shi. In Uyghur it means clay pottery on high platforms. It has always been a quiet lane, with only the occasional peddler selling yogurt. Along the lane, light abruptly changes from bright to dark. The contrast is so sharp that it looks like a black and white wood carving. The earth walls and crossing walkways block the sun's relentless rays, making a walk in the old lane feel cool even in the hottest summer. During the day, men are either at work or out for business, leaving their women and children at home. The street becomes a children's playground. They get together whipping tops, playing soccer, or skipping with jump ropes. Kashgar still retains its features engraved deep into its traditions. Kashgar's lanes were paved with bricks of different shapes and sizes. They form a unique architectural language, telling stories of this city from times immemorial. On the next Discover China, we continue the journey between the two cities.